I made it, and on time as well. I had to move my car just before. We've got a skip coming tomorrow. How cool is that? So if you have not caught me on video before, hello. I am Heather Eggington, founder of Wealth of You, facilitator of sustainable change. And we are playing with money, the energy of money, the topic of money this month in April. And what we kind of went into last week was around being really neutral, having a kind of a neutral point of view, let's say, or way of being with the energy of money, which was interesting. I would love to hear your takeaways from that and what that kind of showed up for you. It's so freaky as well, because since I've started talking about that neutrality, the word has shown up on the internet in quite a few places. So there must be quite a few people experiencing a similar download or watching me lurking and not letting me know who's tuning in. So I wanted to talk about value today. I wanted to bring the conversation around value because it's so intrinsically linked to, and I don't want to say attached to money itself. However, what I say is behind the numbers are your values. And I wanted to have this conversation because if you caught my Facebook post, I think it was last week or the beginning of this week, and I talked about kind of purging. It was last week. I was purging lots of things, and one of those things, or two of those things, were my previous engagement rings. The first one, I was just too young. I kind of said yes and then said no 6 months later. It was quite interesting. I was only 21. And the second engagement was because it didn't happen because he cheated on me 9 months before our wedding. So it was a beautiful ring, though. I will share a picture actually on my Facebook, because I'll be sharing some more about this values and pricing ourselves based on value and values versus worth. And so I wanted to talk about this because when I took my engagement ring in to kind of sell it, right, because I've got no use for it anymore. When I took my engagement ring in to sell it, and look, this is a good point to say, like, what do you value the most? Let's like dive into that topic. Like, let's have you consider and contemplate that. Like, what do you treasure and cherish the most? And when I took my ring in, they looked at it like it was a piece of trash. They were like, seriously? It's tiny because I've got really small fingers, and like, you're not going to get much for that. And do you want to just leave it with the valuer and then we'll get back to you? Like, we'll come back to you in 48 hours. I was like, that's fine. And the lady even said when I was leaving, but don't get your hopes up. We're not going to get much for it. And it sort of really got me kind of sat with and writing about, wow, how much, one, that person already told me that this ring is not worth much, right? It's not of value monetary wise. And two, I had a conversation with money. Someone responded to my dirty cash kind of 5 free experiences of having a conversation with money, and the conversation kind of went into worthiness. And I always go, worthy to who? I always say, like, worthy to what? Like, worthy to what's it in comparison to, right? You know, because to me, worth is so personal, Jesus. And 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 that's why this engagement ring story really sort of had me writing a lot, because when it comes to kind of value, if I was still engaged and then married to that person, like the value of that ring would be priceless, because it means something to me. I value it, right? Because it represents like more than just the ring itself. And it's like, now I don't value it. How? When I walk into a shop to pawn it or trade it or whatever for exchange the energy of money, if I don't value it, of course they're not going to value it either. They'll be like, look, if you're getting rid of it because you don't value it, it's not worth much. It's not valuable as much as maybe it would have been or had been had I treasured it, right? And so I really sort of sat with these thoughts. You know, the value behind the numbers is your values, or what you value the most. Because that's such really a simple way to price ourselves. It's actually a really freaking smart way to price ourselves, or the services we offer, or the products that we offer. Or, I mean, if we think about even in being employed, right? If we value having circumstantial security, let's say we're bringing up a family, or we just want some stability in our lives, then like we're going to value our job, right? Because of what it gives us, like the opportunity to feel free to do quite a few things, and not have us worry that the money's not coming, or that we're not valued in any way. Because when you're employed, I would like to think you're working in a company that really values you, right? And when I really kind of sat with what is it that I really value, because if my values are behind the numbers, whether that be growth from a monetary perspective, or growth from how many clients I've worked with, and let's face it, you know, a lot of organizations, you know, you have numbers targets, don't you? And it's like, if you value health, for example, and that's not at the forefront of, like, value your health over the energy of money, for example, and your health is not at the forefront but money is, it's like you're always going to kind of feel out of alignment. You're always going to feel like you're chasing something, or you know, you're trying to fit your health in, but you know, money seems to be taking all your time. And it's like the same with family, right? If you're family first, like you really value like your time with your family and spending time with your family and being home with your family, then it's like, how do you create, or what kind of business or service or product or way of being and doing do you create that allows you to be able to spend as much time as you want with your family? Now, like, there's a couple of examples. When I read a post, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, someone was inviting me to take like a money survey. And you had to only pick two of six off the list of things that you would really value to experience in your life around money. And I might not remember all six, but there was like, one was like mortgage free, one was guaranteed 100K in your bank every month. One was a one-off £1 million payment. One was a pension, a fully paid in pension. So there was like all these things that, you know, they were asking people to kind of survey around. And I ticked 4 of them already. So I don't have a mortgage. My retirement fund is my rental properties, which also give me a nice income every month while asleep. And there must have been another one. Did I say retirement fund? Yeah, income. Yeah. So ultimately, I was like, when I went through them, I was like, you know, that's genius, because behind the numbers is the values. And I had no clue that when I was building my property portfolio, that I was building it because at the time I valued being in a position where I could earn money while asleep, based on one of my biggest values right now is free time. Like, I value having free time, nothing in the diary. Literally every day I don't book anything in my diary until after 12:30. All my mornings are free because I love to play and create. That's when the magic happens for me, right? Tell me if this is you. What is it you value the most, and you kind of unconsciously maybe have already been working towards, and maybe you haven't, you know, realized that, oh, you already created it, you know. And it's like, if going back to like the ring point, like if I really valued that ring, like I would never have it priced. Maybe for insurance purposes, but I would never have it priced, like, because I've treasured it. It's priceless. And this is the thing. When we value ourselves like so freaking much and make choices, I think that's my partner telling me he's coming home from the gym, and make all our decisions and our choices based on, does this align with my values, the value of me? Does this align with the value of me? Then it's a no-brainer, isn't it? What you kind of say yes and no to when it comes to the energy of money. Look at the example when I said that I was going to withdraw from posting loads of stuff and adding loads of value on Facebook. Literally that month, they invited me to come and join their paid engagement scheme. And I was like, it doesn't align with my values. Like, my value, the things that I was, let's say, delivering on Facebook, I now get to really focus on sharing those with people that I'm working with and my clients, because I value intimacy. I value spending time with people on a personal level versus trying to reach the masses. And it's like, also, not only that, if we look at it from, even if we look at value from another person's perspective, someone would maybe hate having loads of free time. Like, they would find themselves maybe bored or unproductive, or in some people's eyes, you know, they would feel useless with having lots of free time. And so therefore their values would be completely different, you know, and maybe they priced themselves or put a price tag or value themselves based on, you know, how much they get seen and heard, how much they get involved with stuff, how much success to them may well be productivity, like their values may be performance based values, which is cool. Like everyone's different, like whatever works for somebody, like whatever has somebody draw out the best in themselves, then brilliant. It's just knowing actually what we value and making a decision and a choice based on that. Like as I try my best to always use examples from my own experiences and experiments, when I used to price myself for £15 for 2 hours for a small business coaching group session per attendee, and maybe I'd get 10, I think max was 14 once in Birmingham, the value someone had experienced from that was not worth, that was worth way more than £15, right? Because people were 10xing their businesses because they had more trust, because that was what it was based around, more trust. It's just that I didn't value myself. I was new. I hadn't worked with that type of kind of vibe before. And like 4 years on, now I base my pricing what I call above the invisible line, because I value the amount of energy, the amount of myself that I've put into doing the work. And I'm not a beginner, although every day is a new day, right? Look, I'm not a beginner anymore. And it's like the progress. There's progress in our values as well. Like my values maybe 20 years ago when I started doing property were more based on I want to be free when I get to a certain age. And now it's like I'm living free, I have lots of free time. It's like the progress in that value, the way it's evolved, the way it's expanded, that's why I attract clients who value their free time as well, because I lead with that. Like I lead with, when I say like above the invisible, I price myself above the invisible line, because people that are looking to expand, really be seen and heard, really see themselves and hear themselves, the ones who want to do that and dance in the moment and be spontaneous and feel free to reach out to someone who's working with them, alongside them, walking alongside them whenever something comes up for them. Yes, I'm here for that. Like I'm a 24/7, although in their clause I might not respond for 24 hours, and most of the time they've already kind of seen through what they need to see through before I've responded. However, it's like if they valued productivity, speed, performance, get it done now, results, if they valued that, I'm not the person for them. I'm just not. And what I found is when I price myself above the invisible line, and I say invisible line like outside of the kind of the scarcity and lack sort of realm, like price myself in abundance, let's say, right? because money can come in all ways, and it doesn't always have to be through my business from a coaching and mentoring perspective. It's like the value of me goes up and up and up, because the more free time I have, the more I create, the more I play, the more free I am within myself, because that's the other reason why I also price myself above the invisible line. Like, I'm a high vibe, like, show up no matter what's going on, total confidence kind of person. And why would I want, like, I wouldn't want to work with someone that's not that, or that's nearly that, you know, like, yes, great, nearly that. Yes, great, completely can see their natural gifts, and really want to home in and expand on those. Brilliant. Let's go. However, if I was to, it would feel really hard work if I was to go and then shift my energy from up here to down there to work with another person that doesn't really see or value themselves in that way. It's like a no-brainer. And like, the other thing from a value perspective is like, and I really landed on this week, is like, I really value intimacy. Like, I'm like an all-in person. Like, if I say that I'm gonna do something or something's gonna happen, like, it happens. Like, I'm not half-assed kind of person. Like, I'm an all-in. So if I'm working with up to 5 clients and another one shows up, like, I'm going to put them on the wait list. They go, okay, I share resources with them and check in with them over that time. However, I value the intimacy, the personal relationship that I have with these people. Like, we literally do life 24/7 over however many months. So why would I want to, let's say, even value more the numbers game, right? Why would I want to value quantity over quality? Why would I even do that? It feels, well, to me, it feels icky. And again, someone could be the opposite. You know, someone could value thousands of people all vying for their attention and like really thrive in those types of environments. And I'm sure I would definitely have had those moments. However, it's not, it's a choice. It's like a decision, like a decide. And where do you decide to step out and lead with your values and really own them and really treasure them, just like the engagement ring? Like, if I treasured it, it would be priceless. And really, that's the invitation for us today when it comes to the energy of money. When we make a decision that the value is us and the energy that is all of us, and where that energy, like, literally, because we are so in tune with our values and what really matters to us and what we really treasure and what we really cherish, then the only decision we have to make is well, if I'm priceless, if you're priceless, there's literally not a price tag that could be put on you in any way, shape, or form. What would you ask for? What would you shift, like, in your life right now? What would you completely shift to work for you instead of against you? Wow, like, and where's the progress? in the values maybe that you consciously or unconsciously started walking with many years ago, and the progress with those. Where are they now? I would love to know. I would love to know. So the value is you. You are priceless. 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 Fortunately, the value is you. The value is me. The value is we're walking, talking value. Basically, we are value on legs. That is who we are. Value on legs. And anytime we feel anything less than that, anything less than priceless, then it's like, well, let me just check in with myself here. Does this align with the value of me? Does this really represent and own the value of me in the way that I want it to? It's just what. So I appreciate I've given you lots of things to consider. The energy is high in here today. Wow, life is incredible. I have no clue what is going on. And every time I say I have no clue what is going on, I'm definitely being guided by other things than me. Other things than me. So I look forward to seeing you next week. I would love to ask, who do you know that would love to be hearing these conversations, having these questions posed? Who do you know that would enjoy and value being here in this vibe, in this space? I would love for you to invite them. If you caught my last video around the changes in my social media feeds, you will also understand what that's about now that I've shared one of my values around intimacy over and quality over quantity. You will now understand what, and I didn't at the time when I received that message, and I totally do now, and I'm definitely walking in that. So this group, when it gets to 100, we're just going to go all in with 100 people. And this is about a deeper conversation, having a deeper conversation either with ourselves or with me, if that feels aligned to you, about the topics that we're discovering, exploring, diving into. So I'd love to ask, what would you like next month to be all about? And how freaking magnetic are you feeling right now? I can tell you my bird feeder needs the seeds changing. If you caught that story in my first welcome video on this group, you will know exactly what I mean when I say my bird feeder needs refilling. There are new creations coming from me soon. I'm very excited for whatever they turn out to be like. And I'm very excited for everyone that's here. See you soon. Have a good rest of Wednesday.